look who's driving my car. A guy just jacked me calling here. He just stole it, NASCAR driver. So we're going to take the Mustang out for a quick ride. So.
One Community USA, I'm the director of Pathways to Hope, which is helping offenders pursue excellence. That's kind of what we're doing, right? We're an organization that I go in once a week on my own now. So once a week, I spend an hour with the vets and I spend an hour with the civilian pod, and I just talk to them. I'm just real with them. I share them my own struggles, and then I bring some of my life struggles to them. I'm like, how do I deal with my kids' school? How would you deal with, like, I'm running all these situations and I empower them to answer back, because I'm like, I'm guaranteeing you when you get out, these are some of the things you're going to have to deal with. So if you help me, I'm helping you. Right. And then we do a 40-hour course. So we teach them. So I go in there once every other month, and for a whole week, it's 22 lessons during a week. We start on Monday and on Friday, and it's teaching them the basics again. It's financing, job discipline, mental health, emotional intelligence, expectations versus realities, resume building, all these things to get their brain churning again, that they can be successful. And then, so when they graduate that, but the people that are coming in, it's just not me teaching. I bring in the community. Yeah. Why am I bringing the community in? Because what if social media and the news portrays all of them as criminals, mass murderers, worthless? I want them to see that some of these guys are geniuses. Some of these guys just have bad luck. They've fallen on luck, and they just need somebody to help them, motivate them through. So the community I have come in teaching. And so it's really cool, because at the end, I usually have those instructors come back to the graduation, and they'll see that these guys, the community now sees that these guys aren't bad. And the guys in the jail see that the community actually does want to help them, and it's bridging that gap. So then when they get out, because I'm like, you can tell me whatever you want to hear in jail. You're going to tell me whatever. I don't believe none of you. I don't. Yeah. What's going to happen is, do you actually apply this when you get out of jail, when life hits you in the face with the $5 gas, the $17 watermelon, the baby mama drama, the homeboys? That's when, let me see you then, because now we have a class. So it's a 2.0 version of that every Monday night, where they can come and they meet me and they go, okay, hey, these are the struggles I'm having. Now we start getting the community involved in what resources are out there for these guys: housing, schooling, finances, food stamps, getting your crucials. It's amazing how many veterans don't have any other paperwork, don't have social security cards still, or a driver's license. Yeah. And then on top of that, tier 3 is, now I want the community involved, embracing these guys. So, because a lot of these guys are going back to their environments that cause these issues. Yeah. So I may be able to not stop their environment or how they can interact, but what I can do is now get the community involved in mentoring them. So now they're paired up with mentors, because we all need that one person that we can call when we're struggling, when we don't know what to do. So when these guys run back into a situation and their vice used to be drugs, alcohol, yelling at their spouses, going hanging out with the wrong people, now before they make that choice and they struggle, they now have somebody that they can call that's a third party, basically from the community, that they can just vent to, or say, hey, I lost my job, what resources are out there? Or, hey, I just need to talk. Because we all just need somebody to vent to sometimes. So we're trying to change that dynamic now within the environment of it, incorporating the community and these guys, bridge those gaps and get them, not give them their stuff, but empower them to not, when a door hits them in the face, just quit. Yeah. Because we didn't quit on the battlefield. We didn't quit in the military. We kept going no matter what the struggle was. Shot at, a deadline on a report, getting yelled at. We didn't lie down and say, okay, well, that's it, I'm useless.
Yeah, throw your hands up, walk away. Yeah.
But we also had good teams behind us, right? You had good enlisted, you had good officers behind you that made you successful. I had great soldiers and great officers in my years that helped me when I fell down, or yelled at me when I needed to be yelled at, or praised me when I got praised.
Yeah, the mere fact that I I was promotable to W5, but the fact that I made that, given how I was enlisted, because I had those mentors, and those guys were like, hey, pull your head out of your ass. Mm-hmm. You can go and do better things than what you're doing. But you're not going to get there with the way you're acting now, as a young E4 and E5.
I didn't make first sergeant by myself. I had a team behind me that helped guide me to be a first sergeant. I did not make first sergeant on my own.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Gentlemen, if I could, again, Tom, it always amazes me. I seem to be in the right place at the right time. And since the very beginning, there's been something on my mind, because even though, you know, I've had a successful life. If you looked at my family history, I was chaptered out of the Army at 20 years old. You know, so my civilian life began young and also began feeling like a failure, right? And that somehow I want to make that, you know, maybe that's part of the contribution, is to show men that even though, you know, I should have been that statistic. I didn't face if you added any type of addiction to what was going on, guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? Guaranteed that would have been me. And I think it's important that those men that are, you know, chaptered under, or, you know, anything less than whatever, you know, I was chaptered under honorable, so I could sit here and justify, say, well, I get all my benefits, it wasn't that bad. But the thing is it's a different mindset that, if you let it, can dictate the rest of your life. I refuse to do that. And I think part of that was because I was fortunate enough to be in the 82nd Airborne. And you know, we jokingly make fun, but I think that had enough of a, you know, imprint on me, because I got chaptered freaking 3 months before my ETS, dude. Oh, wow. So I got 4 Article 15s and 6 months after a change of command. I thrived under those Vietnam veterans that like to dog you when you showed up hungover and whatever misdeed. And anyway, that's besides the point. But yeah, that somehow I want to find a way to make that my personal contribution. And that's what I love about these conversations, is our missions all line up, no matter what our niche in the overall. We're the solution, and it's perfect because one person in the community can't be the overall solution. And I love how we're all targeting these areas that are, you know, in our hearts to bring these guys home, you know. And that's really what it is. But I always say it, I love this, maybe this will be my catchphrase when I'm famous. Veterans don't know what's missing in their lives until they fill it with veterans, bro.
I tell people all the time, I still only feel comfortable around 2 groups. One is a vet group that I volunteer with, emerging vets and players, that meets up here in Dallas once a week. It's combat veterans and athletes that come together. And the other one is in the jail. That's the only time. Those are the only 2 groups I feel comfortable around, that I'm at peace, that I'm not thinking or watching my back. And you would think like, man, you're in the jail, you need to be watching. Like, I don't. I walk through there. I talk to people. I listen to them. I try to empathize with them. I try to give back, and I try to take, you know, what are your struggles? What are you guys working on? I'm not saying I'm going to be able to fix the justice system. I'm not going to be able to fix the finance or the housing, but let me know what your struggles are, and let me try to go and find felon-friendly employers. Bring your voice to the community. Find these big donors that are out there that are giving away millions of dollars to programs that they don't even know if their programs are successful. Let me bring those donors into the jails and let them see where their money's going, because maybe they won't change it. But what I've done is I brought in donors and shown them that some of the, maybe they'll never see it, or maybe the donor won't see it, but I guarantee the next time somebody, you know, files for some money, maybe they're thinking, well, what is my money actually going to do what it's supposed to be doing? Is it helping? Or maybe they'll change their questioning of, okay, well, I just went and saw these guys in jail. They're saying they're not getting this and support, but my money is going here, here, and here. That says they're doing this. So checks and balances, like where is that at? So I'm kind of an instigator, but it's for the right reasons. They need this. They don't have the support, and they're, you know, and like I said, most of these guys are genuinely wanting to change, but don't know how to change. And they need that good influence in their life, whether that be a mentor, a community leader, a community sponsor. So finding those felon-friendly employers, finding veterans that have been successful, that are in areas of influence now, that are up in CEO positions, or that are in businesses that'll help bring a veteran in, or, you know, finding them those kind of resources is really what I'm doing, is really going out there trying to find out where are we hiding that we can all make a difference and help our brothers and sisters get to where they can be comfortable and not be rich. I tell them, y'all ain't gonna get the Corvette. You're not gonna get the $1 million house. You got to start somewhere and have a 5-year goal, right? Where are you gonna be in 5 years? Right now, when you get out, you're gonna have to settle for a sucky job, sucky place, sucky life. I'm not gonna fix your life. Your life's gonna still suck when you get out of jail. I'm sorry. But how do we make it better?
Yeah. How are you gonna make it better? That's right. Well, and it's funny that you bring it up that everybody wants everything now, because that's kind of how society is, right? So we get with social media and everything's now. But I will tell you that there's a lot of people that live in $1 million homes that are living paycheck to paycheck, and things like that. And I have a lot of friends of mine that live in the backwards country of Missouri, and they're happy as can be, and they wouldn't change their life for anything.
I kind of try to tell the vets now too, is, one of my biggest issues ever since I've been wasn't that what you kind of said, and I'll say it in the mean way, entitlement.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of veterans are entitled, and I did 26 years. So people think, oh man, you should begin. I don't think the country owes me crap. I signed up I signed to reenlist. I kept reenlisting. I kept volunteering for all the stuff that I did. I don't believe I'm entitled to what I was due to my contract. My contract said you did 26, you get these benefits. This is what you get as far as pay. Now, whatever my disability and all that goes through the VA, whatever all that works out, that's all extra and stuff. But I do not go anywhere believing I'm an entitled person. Yeah. And I think that's what's really wrong with our society, not just within the vets. It's really bad within the veteran community.
Well, and I think
society itself.
As a parent, you have to teach your kids that, right? So I taught my kids that lesson. And one of the good things I bring up, right? So we're big gamers, you're a big gamer. And so we were playing, I don't forget, Destiny. I forget what game my son was playing, my older son, who's in college now. And he got in trouble. And I said, if you do it again, I'm going to delete one of your characters.
Oh.
He says, do I get to pick the character? I said, no. I picked the character. And as well that some games it take, in Destiny, to get up to a high level, it's a lot of work. And you want to talk about, there you go, kicking it old school, there you go. And you want to talk about him straightened up. Well, and another thing too, Lloyd, my youngest one, started playing, and Junior started playing Fortnite when it first came out. Right? Lloyd is now playing Fortnite, and Lloyd's 8, which is fine. I love video games. I think it's fun. I think anything as a parent, it's my duty to watch them to make sure they're not doing anything they're not supposed to be doing, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, whatever. But it's tied to my credit card. The account is to be able to play online. Well, Lloyd went in and he bought this suit or something from Fortnite. He knew better, right? And it was $100. You know what I made him do? I made him go empty out his piggy bank and pay me back.
Yeah.
Made him physically go there, count out. Now he doesn't know I put it back in his account. But the fact that he now knows, how many parents would have just yelled at a kid and didn't make them suffer something from it, right? Because that was money that he had saved, and he was saving it for something. He's never done it since then. And he was 6 at the time. He's 8.
That's what you do. Like everything, I try to tell my son, he thinks he's slick, right? Because whatever. Everything he does is tied to me. Like all of his accounts, YouTube, all of the accounts, all of his emails, they're tied to me. And so when he goes and like makes a comment under a YouTube video or something like that, I'm like, hey, I saw that comment you did and I took it down, or stop commenting because it's under my name. And I'm like, stop doing that. So he's just like, I was like, I will shut it down. I will shut your access to it immediately. It doesn't matter where I'm at in the world. I still can shut your stuff down.
Well, and here's the thing, Junior will ask you, there's no gray area with Dad, right? I am black and white. I tell you, if you do this is what's, and sometimes that's hard for parents, right? And I'm the same way with Lloyd. If you don't do A, B's coming, period. That's just how it is. But, and my older sister, she will always operate in the gray area, and her kids didn't turn out as good as they could have been, for different reasons, could have been right or wrong. But just like in the military, we knew our boundaries, right? And when you get out, you don't have those boundaries. And just like a child, those child need to know they have boundaries. And I think sometimes when kids get older, parents become more of our friends and not their parents. And I used to tell Junior all the time, I'm your dad. I'm not your friend. I'm not your buddy. I'm your dad. And as long as you live under my roof, these are the rules. And this is what's going to happen. At age 12, he was doing his own laundry and cleaning his room. Why? Because I think it's important for kids to learn life skills and how to balance a checkbook than it is more so than anything else. And I'm doing the same thing with Lloyd, and not to be mad or mean, but Junior knows how to cook. He knows how to take care of himself. He knows how to do all those things. Because to me, it was important because I was taught that as a kid, and always dignity and respect others. One thing I told Junior with social media is like, oh, well, so-and-so was saying this about me. I was like, fine. When you see him at school the other day, walk up and ask him about it. Get in his face. Because I guarantee he ain't going to talk about it when you're in his face, And, I teach the importance of, kids being able to defend themselves. Bullying's a big issue and a huge problem. Both my kids have done Taekwondo. Lloyd's in Taekwondo now. I think it's important that kids to have that self-discipline and that respect that they learn doing martial arts. And it's helped Junior out, with a couple of bullying instances where he just protecting himself, but he beat the kid up. But he was protecting himself, and I have no issues with that.
That is such a veteran mentality too, because I am the exact same way. So my son is a military brat too. All he knows about is guns, suicide prevention, everything that I've done. I'm very transparent, very open. Everything that's happened in my life, he knows about and has been part of, because I want him to understand the way that I am and why I operate the way I am, and to be able to help me when I don't know how to help myself. And I put that on him at 9. He just turned 10, I'm sorry. But he's been at that. And when I got out, my family still lives in Ohio, and I would put him in an area that's very, 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 very safe. The problem with that is putting them in a very, very safe areas has now put them in a bind, because they don't understand military very well.
Yeah.
And so him talking about guns has scared the children around him. Him talking about suicide prevention has been a topic of multiple discussions with multiple schools on his ability to be a peer, his ability to understand his feelings, his understandings of being able to do stuff, has them again with me. And so I put him in Taekwondo. I'm going to go see him in a tournament. He's gotten 3 golds in the last 2 tournaments.
Nice.
But the school, he's had altercations there. And I said, there's 2 rules in my house on this. I said, one is, if you start it, me and you have issues. Right. I said, but if you're defending yourself or defending somebody else, we're going fishing, ice cream. I don't care what the school does to you. But he's gotten into altercations. And one altercation, finally it came out to light, and he's like, I get a call, and it's like, hey, your son had to go see the doctor. The other kid's seen the doctor. Everything's okay. But the kid admitted to knocking my son down, and they asked me, because my son defended himself and ended up doing more damage, can I talk to him to be less violent on this? And I said, no, that kid admitted to knocking my son down. My son got up and finished it. He is not going to get in trouble, and I am not talking him down. And so my other thing is, when of these things happen, I make sure that my wife tells the Taekwondo master, say, hey, this is the altercation my son got into, help him better defend. And we got talked to is, hey, just letting you know that this is a state that will, it's double repercussions. It doesn't matter who starts it, both of you all get in trouble. And I said, I don't care. I said, teach my son how to defend himself. And you know what the master told my wife? You guys are the rare family that is telling us that you want us to teach them extra stuff. I said, what are these kids in here for then? Right. If they're not in here to defend themselves and be able to sit there and be against it, why would I want my son not to learn more and how to defend himself? That's opposite of what I'm paying.
Well, that's one good thing about jujitsu, right? Jujitsu teaches you that. Junior did jujitsu for a while and wrestled. And, I always tell my son, you don't start a fight, but you damn well better finish it, period. Mm-hmm. And my dad was always that way. And my dad was a bad dude. My dad ran with motorcycle gangs, and not just guys that put shit on your back. He no shit was in motorcycle gang in Kansas City. And my older brother and sister, their life, because they're 9 years older than me, was completely different than mine. Because they grew up with motorcycle gang members sleeping in the house and waking them up to make them breakfast and things like that. And dad had to get away from that and moved away. And me and my younger sister's life was completely different from theirs. But and that's one thing he always said. You don't start it, but you finish it, and you always have a right to defend yourself. And Junior beat up two kids in our neighborhood one time because they jumped him. And Junior picked up a stick and defended himself. Well, one kid was 3 years older, and the dad called me. I said, "Well, I got a problem with your 14-year-old son jumping my 9-year-old."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "If you wanted to talk it further, we can go outside. I don't have no issues or problems, right?" He was just upset because Junior thumped them both. But they shouldn't have been jumping him to begin with. But here's the thing too. When Junior dealt with this, when people found out he was a second degree black belt, they would try to push him into fighting, right? And this is where it comes to, well, you better finish your fight, because not that I condone hurting people or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But it will get rid of the people wanting to try to start a fight with you.
Mm-hmm.
It takes one good kid getting his butt kicked, and none of the other kids are gonna mess with you.
You usually end up with more friends afterwards because they see that you are standing up for yourself. You are a person that they maybe surround you with, and you end up with more friends after that, because you're going to have more people that either are with you because they need help being defended, or because they see that you're actually a nice person, and they're going to want to be around you because they're like, oh man, that's horrible. You didn't start it, but glad you finished it. Or, hey, I've been bullied by that guy for so long. And you're going to end up with a bigger friend base because you didn't start it. You chose the high road, but then you also didn't take any BS at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that's important. And I carried that through my military career. I never looked for a fight. I never enjoyed it, but I would never back down from one. You just, I guess when you get older, you kind of think differently.
But that's why my son is trained in suicide prevention and is comfortable coming to talk to me when he sees me angry or off, because just like you said, we never ran from a fight. We always ran to it. There was never a point that I ever ran from a firefight or ran from a situation, because that was what I was trained to do. That wasn't who I was with. I spent 82nd. I was with a lot of SF groups. I was with SOCOM. I was a lot of guys that did a lot of good stuff around this world, and they never ran from anything. And I didn't want my son to ever be scared of me. I didn't want him to see me off, or I didn't know what was going on and go, I don't know how to help my dad. So I've taught him my triggers. I've taught him how to assist in QPR and a lot of these things. And that why it's threefold. One is he can help me. Now he feels comfortable talking to me. Two is now he's identified stuff within himself that he's able to, hey, if I'm dealing with something, I know I can go talk to dad because dad deals with stuff too.
Yeah.
Three, now he's actually an asset to his school because it's all about peer-to-peerness. Yeah. He now can identify stuff with amongst his peers that the teachers and parents will never know, and they're comfortable talking to him. He now knows he can bring them to us, or the teachers, or mainly us, to be able to get them the resources they need to stop any issue that we have in our school.
So well, it's funny you bring that up, because I do the same thing with my boys, because obviously you can Google me and pages come up, right? And so that's a hard conversation to have with Junior, when he was younger, but at Lloyd's age now. But Lloyd the other day in school, so he's got a new principal at his school. He goes to a private school. And one of the kids in school in his class said he wanted to kill himself. One of the kids said that. Now there's many, but you know what Lloyd did? Lloyd very calmly walked up to his teacher and told his teacher what went on. And this is what the teacher's telling him. She goes, the fact that he was so poised and calm, was amazed. And so she goes and she talks to the boy, and they talk to the boys, because you never know what's going on in kids' life. And he said he was just joking around or whatever, but he's got a very good teacher. And so the principal was asking me, why that's not a normal reaction that I think an 8-year-old should have in that situation. And so I just sent a link to my website and said, because this is what I do. This is why he acts the way he does. But you're right. They become an asset because they know more what's going on than parents and teach whatever. I always tell parents, if your kid plays games online, go sit in a room where you can hear them and listen to what they're talking about. Because they're playing with a group of friends from school. They're talking about what's going on with school in their day. And, Tommy likes this person or that person, or this happened with this teacher or whatever. I remember Junior had a civics teacher, and he would tailor the questions on the test to whatever the popular video game was that the kids were playing at that time. And so he would incorporate questions from Fortnite, No Man's Sky, whatever game, the popular game. And kudos for him for knowing. He was probably a big gamer too. But and then I would hear Junior and them talking about, oh yeah, so and so put this test about on this on Fortnite and blah blah blah, and what a great connection to have, and I think that when you go and talk to the prisoners, Tom, and you bring your military experience and past, I think that's why they connect with you, whether they've been in the service or not. And I think no matter for whatever reason somebody's in prison, they're still a human being. And I think everybody has the chance or the ability to make change in their life, whether it's coming out of the prison system, whether it's mental health issues or whatever. You have that ability. Oh, and I came up with a little saying that I said, we can't change the past, but we have the ability to change tomorrow. And you can make that change, or even today, you can make that change today. But hey, as we wrap this up, Tom, I would like to say thank you for coming on my podcast. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed our friendship over the years. I know we go through times where we don't talk a lot, but maybe we'll connect more often. I want to invite you anytime. Come to Virginia, visit my home here. You're more than welcome here anytime. If you're in town traveling or whatever, you're welcome to come in. But as we close it out, I'd like for you to, if you have any parting words or last words to say, feel free to go ahead and jump in.
No, I greatly appreciate it. I respect your friendship and everything you're doing in the mental health field. I love it. Yes, we're going to continue this conversation. There's a lot more projects I'm involved with that I want to get you involved with on a national levels. But yes, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you want to give back to veterans or just incarcerated in general, get with me, get with Cliff to get with me to mentor resources, whatever in the area that will help second chances. These guys are veterans and just civilians in general.
Well, I tell you what, when my book comes out, you let me know and I'll ship you some free books.
Man, they'll love it. Thank you.
But hey, Mental Health Wars, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Tom today. He's a great person. We'll make sure we have all the links to things that he does and everything. But, just go out and please remember the incarcerated veterans we have out there. They're kind of a forgotten group. And I'm really was happy for Tom to come on and talk about that, because I got a little educated today and I hope you did too. But you guys have a great week and take care of yourself. Remember, pick up that phone, call that family or friend. Veterans Day is coming up very quickly here. It's the time for reflection for a lot of veterans and to take the time to think a veteran, and it's just, we give so much, but we chose to give that much. If you're not a Vietnam veteran and wasn't drafted, then you chose to join. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Be sure to go out to VeteranTrashTalk.com, watch all of our podcasts. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're all over the place. Truth Social, Rumble. We're all over the place. Rally Point. I do a lot of writings on Rally Point. But everybody take care. Have a great week.